I'm going to do some styling on this Pinus pinea Silver Crest, which I'm going to show the before and after of, but I thought it was really interesting before I do that just to show another tree of exactly the same type here, which is the same. So this is Pinus pinea Silver Crest, which I bought for about £6 in a DIY shop a few years ago. And this was the first tree that I potted up into a bonsai pot and wired and styled, and I've got a kind of twisting spiral pattern in this tree, and I think it looks quite good for my first one, and it's going to take some time to develop, etc. So there's nothing wrong with that, but I think it's interesting to note the difference between its thickening and its health with this other tree here. So this has been wired and bent to an extent. Also taken out the leader here, but it's just in a bigger pot, and you can see the vigour there, and then the trunk, it's not that much thicker, but it's probably a couple of millimetres thicker than the other one. So whilst it's fun to put young trees in bonsai pots, it's probably strategically not the best thing to do, but it's nice to have a couple, and the point is that tree was so cheap it doesn't matter. So what am I going to do with this? It's got lots of elongation in these branches. You can see there. So I need to cut down the length of some of these, probably quite far back, but I'm not sure to what extent they're going to produce buds on those shortened branches. So I'm going to do it to half of them. So half of them I'm going to cut back to just a few, like to a centimetre or two length, and then half I'm going to leave, and then I'll be able to observe what happens without doing damage to the tree. And I'm also going to take out some of the branches completely. So there's quite a lot of branching going on here, and it's not all necessary to keep. So I'm going to take some branches out now, and then give this tree, and then that will be the starting point for this tree for next year. Okay, so what have we got here? So there's a whole portion of this tree that doesn't have any branches on, which I would have cut. So I'm trying to think what I was trying to achieve with that, and I think I might have been trying to go for a kind of windswept look. So it's slanting over this direction, and most of the branching is over there, although I have kept some down here. I suspect I kept it down here to generate taper. So I guess that's what that was about. So I think I'm going to try and keep with that theme. So to imagine the tree was kind of like growing at this angle, but wind has pulled the branches back. And then maybe towards the top, the whole tree itself comes back like that. So that's what I'll go with, and it doesn't really matter if it looks good or not, because these trees are just, they only cost me about £6, so they're just They're just here to have fun with and try out ideas and learn. So I'm going to take one of these out, one of these layer branches out now, just because they're kind of confusing. This one is really vigorous. Maybe I'll keep it because it is creating taper and it's got quite a lot of branching on it. It's bent, which is quite cool. So I'll take out the lower one. Let's use the concave cutter for that. Don't want to go too deep. I can't even see what I'm doing. It's going to take off the tip so I can actually get to the bark. Could just leave that. Just to help with thickening. That simplified it, so maybe that's what I should do. And then, right, so I mean, these internodes are all really long, so let's take them back, but not all of them. Take them back and see what happens. Looks like I've got some. Do you know what? I'm just going to take them all back. No, I'm going to take most of them back and leave a few. Because I think it's going to be fine to do that. And it's no use having great big long internodes anyway. Alright, so there's a few there that I've left. Now, back around here. Now, maybe if I take out some of the major branches as well. So we've got almost opposite branches here. One here, and then another one growing out of the elbow. So that will form inverse taper, which we don't want. So we've got to take one out. I could just take this one, which I kind of resolved to keep. Or I could take that one, but I feel like it's going to leave a massive gap. It's going to leave a really big gap. Let's take out this. There. Change of plans. Clearly gone to the bother of bending that, but it's not needed. And then I'll take out this one that was in the elbow. So there's two branches at the top which I've left the apical growth untouched on each. So I've left intact that apical dominance. I could take them out to spread some more growth further throughout the tree. I think I'll just leave it and see what happens. I think that's enough for 1 year. See what happens next year. Because it's difficult to know what exactly is happening and to keep track, I'm just going to leave this one alone. So you can see it's less vigorous, but it also looks like it's been cut back quite hard by me in the past. But I'm just going to leave this one so we can just use this one as a compare. It's just very little branching on it. So let's leave this one and see what happens to it. And now the final one. This one I'm gonna just take a lot of the branches out and cut off all of the, well, I'll see how I go. I'm gonna thin this one out basically. I have left the apical growth on it. But thinned out quite a lot of the branches. So we'll see what happens.